Good evening and welcome to Kini News. Pakatan Harapan is on their retreat in Port Dickson, and over there they came to the decision that Anwar Ibrahim is going to be their Prime Minister candidate for the 15th general elections. They announced this decision in what they call the Port Dickson Resolution. Pakatan Harapan has agreed to nominate PKR President Anwar Ibrahim as their Prime Minister candidate in the next general elections. The decision was made by the coalition's leaders at their two-day retreat in Port Dickson, Negeri Sembilan, which began yesterday. In the statement today titled the Port Dickson Resolution, they announced several decisions made by the coalition's leaders at the retreat. Among them was a call for Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin to advise the Yang di-Pertuan Agong to reconvene Parliament and end the emergency. They added that the coalition will engage all stakeholders to prepare for its election manifesto and would undertake roadshows throughout the country on Harapan's election pledges soon. They also reiterated their pledge and commitment to continue strengthening Harapan to face GE15 and display their capabilities in governing the country with integrity, democracy and justice. Apart from that, Harapan also promised equitable distribution of resources for the territories of Sabah and Sarawak. The coalition added that they were open to, quote, negotiations and cooperations with any group, however engagements must be anchored to the coalition's reform agenda and to public interest. The Port Dickson resolution also states that Harapan's goal is to help the country recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and to undo Perikatan Nasional policies which had cost jobs and income. Muhyiddin had promised to hold GE15 once the COVID-19 pandemic was under control. However, he does not have to call for elections until the third quarter of 2023. The state of emergency and suspension of parliament are set to expire on the 1st of August. Have you ever been in such a hurry that you forgot to put your face mask back on after a meal? Well, that looks like what happened to Sarawak Deputy Chief Minister Awang Tanga Ali Hassan as he was recorded not wearing a face mask in a video that's making its rounds online. But fret not, apparently he said that he'll pay the fine for his mistake. Sarawak Deputy Chief Minister Awang Tanga Ali Hassan was reported to have said that he would pay the fine for failing to wear a face mask in public. This was after a video showing him walking past a row of food and beverage stalls without a mask had gone viral on social media. According to Bernama, Awang Tanga said that the police had contacted him over the matter and he would be issued a compound which he intends to pay. Awang Tanga admitted that it was a mistake and said that he had forgotten to put his mask back on while rushing off after a meal. In the 25-second clip, he also appeared to be handing out 50 ringgit each to 5 traders as he walked past and was given a drink from one of the stalls. To this, he said he was in a hurry at the time and the money was for the traders to pay for his purchases that his special officer would collect later. The maximum fine for individuals flouting the standard operating procedures for curbing the COVID-19 pandemic is 10,000 ringgit, though the recommended amount for failing to wear a mask while in public is 1,500 ringgit. The wearing of face masks in most public places has been mandatory since August 1st last year. According to Home Minister Hamzah Zainuddin, it costs about 30 ringgit a day to take care of each foreigner who's in our immigration detention centers. He said this in his response to NGOs who have appealed to stop the deportation of refugees. Malaysia will continue to repatriate undocumented migrants in accordance with national laws, said Home Minister Hamzah Zainuddin. In a press conference yesterday, he questioned whether NGOs who had criticized the government over the issue would be willing to bear the government's daily cost of keeping them in detention centers.
Penghantaran pulang sesiapa saja warga asing yang bersalah di sini sampai masa kita hantar pulang, kita hantar pulang. Apa pasal pula kita nak menahan orang yang duduk di negara asing, telah pun menjalankan segala apa hukuman di sini, yang kita nak tahan dia lagi sampai nak bayar hari-hari. Harga kos kita lebih kurang 30 ringgit satu kepala satu hari. Cuba kita fikir. Yang NGO tak pasal-pasal kata jangan tahan, itu pasal apa?
The minister said this was on foreigners in the country. He also commented on the repatriation of Myanmar refugees and said that he had already instructed the immigration department to check on them. He added there is no reason anyone would stop the deportation of undocumented migrants who wished to return home.
Saya dah mengarahkan Jabatan Immigration, selepas mereka ini layak untuk dihantar pulang, kita tengok semula. Are they really refugees? Kalau dia sendiri tulis surat kepada kita dia nak balik, selepas dia dah menjalani hukuman, why is it that ada orang yang nak tahan supaya mereka ni jangan diberikan peluang untuk balik? Dia nak balik negara asal. And those people yang tak nak bagi balik itu, I will send them the cost in order for them to pay sesiapa yang mereka sayangi ni, orang asing ni, untuk dia bayar hari-hari duduk sini. Nak duduk kat hotel pun tak apa.
In February, the Immigration Department had deported 1,086 Myanmar nationals, despite the Kuala Lumpur High Court ordering the exercise to be on hold. This was following a lawsuit which was filed by Amnesty International Malaysia and Asylum Access Malaysia over concerns that there are asylum seekers and minors with parents in Malaysia among the deportees. The Immigration Department claimed no refugees were being deported, but the NGOs want the UN High Commission for Refugees to be allowed access to the deportees to verify the claim. Another 114 Myanmar nationals in Malaysia have been given extended court protection from being deported to their strife-torn homeland. The phone call recording that was allegedly between PKR's Anwar Ibrahim and UMNO's Ahmad Zahid Hamidi that everyone's talking about this week has already triggered some reactions in both parties, despite both leaders saying it's fake. Today, past President Abdul Hadi Awang was asked about it, and he said that it's part of a, quote, new alignment. What's that? We'll let him explain.
Itu sebahagian daripada jajaran baru. Jajaran baru. Jajaran baru sudah diumumkan. Jajaran baru sudah diumumkan. Itu adalah tanda-tanda jajaran baru.
Maksudnya kita akan terus bekerjasama dengan UMNO tak bila ada jajaran baru macam tu?
Kita terus dengan Perikatan Nasional, bukan jajaran baru. Kita tolak jajaran baru.
Maknanya tidak akan bekerjasama dengan UMNO lah bila ada jajaran
baru?
Tidak.
Kita tak akan terima.
This was the response from past President Abdul Hadi Awang when asked on the audio clip allegedly of UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and PKR President Anwar Ibrahim. Hadi said PAS will reject cooperation with UMNO if the party partakes in political realignments hinted in the audio clip. Speaking to reporters in Marang, Terengganu, he said he did not know whether the recording was real. However, he said people can judge its authenticity for themselves and said the recording was a sign of new political alignments. The new alignment is a phrase used to depict possible cooperation between UMNO and PKR or Pakatan Harapan. Previously, both Zahid and Anwar had claimed that the recording is fake. They are expected to lodge police reports on the purported audio recording separately. Zahid has also said that UMNO will not cooperate with PKR in the next election.
Shellfish, red meat, and beer. If you love indulging in these foods, you may end up with high uric acid level in your blood. These foods consist high level of purine, a substance that will eventually break down into uric acid and be excreted through our urine. It is recommended that the amount of dietary purines should be kept between 600 to 1000 milligrams per day. Having too much uric acid in your blood can cause attacks of gout. It can also cause kidney stones and blockage in the kidney. The crystallization of the excessive uric acid in your blood can be eased by reducing purine-rich food to only 100 to 150 milligrams daily, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and consuming urinary alkalinizer like Ural. It consists of sodium bicarbonate, citric acid, and sodium citrate that increases the urinary pH and solubility of uric acid to prevent crystallization. Best of all, it's lemon-flavored and sugar-free. Ural, effective urinary alkalinizer. Neutralize your uric acid problem now.
Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul said that Putrajaya will be publishing its emergency expenditures so that transparency can be upheld. Does this mean accountability? Well, DAP's Lim Guan Eng doesn't think so. Merely publishing the amount of spending done under the emergency powers does not mean that the government is observing transparency or accountability. This is according to former Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng. In a statement today, he questioned Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz's claim that Putrajaya will be accountable for its unscrutinized emergency spending by publishing the expenses. Lim said that it made a mockery of Parliament and what was required was a, quote, full parliamentary debate that embraces the right of advice, dissent and consent by MPs. He added that it was the duty of members of Parliament to provide parliamentary oversight and scrutiny on public spending. Guan Eng also reiterated DAP's pledge that they will not move or support any no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin before the 1st of August if Parliament is reconvened. The ordinance enacted last week allowed the Finance Minister, Chief Ministers or Mantris Besar to pass a supplementary budget or use consolidated funds without going through the legislature as long as the emergency is in force. The law was widely panned by critics who accused the government of wanting to spend without discretion. On Monday, Tengku Zafrul defended the law, saying that transparency will be upheld and that all spending done under the ordinance will be published on the federal or state gazettes. Zafrul said one purpose of the ordinance was to approve the supplementary budget for 2020 immediately. He assured that spending is still limited by the debt ceiling, which is currently at 60% of the GDP. That's a wrap for Kini News this evening. For more stories, go to kinitv.com. Don't forget, you can also follow us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook to get the latest news updates. Now, before I leave you, if you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. You can go and find our subscription page on Malaysia Kini, and there will be some attractive subscription deals waiting for you right there. Now, if you're heading out, don't forget your mask, and well, after you finish eating, don't forget to put it back on. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay safe, Malaysia. Have a great weekend.